Going to read A Magical Journey. Once there was a boy named Kenai who lost his older brother Sitka in a bear hunting accident. From that day on, Kenai hated bears with all his heart. Kenai did not know that Sitka had joined the great spirits in the sky, and that as an eagle spirit, Sitka watched over him. Sitka could see that Kenai was very angry. To teach his brother to love again, Sitka magically changed Kenai into the thing Kenai hated most, a bear. As soon as Kenai turned into a bear, he felt different, but he didn't know why. Then he looked into the water and saw his reflection. Kenai was horrified. He was a bear. He couldn't believe it. He would do anything to turn himself back into a boy, but how? Finally, Kenai decided to find the mountain where the magical lights in the sky touched the earth. That's where the great spirits in the sky were said to live. Perhaps there, Kenai could ask Sitka and the other great spirits to change him back to a human. And so Kenai set off on a journey. His goal? To get back his life. Before long, Kenai met two moose named Rut and Took. He thought they might know where the mountain he was searching for was. But the two silly moose were too afraid of bears to let him ask them. They tried to hide and pretended Kenai hadn't seen them. We're not here, they said. When Kenai realized why they were hiding, he became upset. I'm not a bear, he shouted. I hate bears. Well, gee, said Rut. You're one big beaver, eh? I'm not a beaver, cried Kenai. I'm a man. But the moose didn't understand. Kenai walked off, but he hadn't gone far before his foot got caught in a trap. As he dangled from a tree branch, a small bear cub approached him. Hold still, the cub yelled. Then he swung a stick at Kenai, trying to help him down. Stop that, cried Kenai. I don't need some silly bear's help. Instead, Kenai struggled for hours to free himself, but it was impossible. Finally, he realized that he did need the cub's help. The cub, whose name was Coda, happily agreed, if Kenai would promise to take him to the salmon run. Reluctantly, Kenai told Coda that he would. Coda freed Kenai, and the two bears set off together. But Kenai soon decided to break his word to little Coda. He still hated bears, and the last thing he wanted to do was follow one to a bear-filled salmon run. Then Coda told Kenai something that changed his mind. The mountain where the lights touched the earth was close to the salmon run. Still, it was not easy for Kenai to stay with Coda. The bear cub talked. A lot. How about no talking, Kenai finally said. Okay, said Coda cheerfully. I'll sing instead. As the days passed, Kenai found he couldn't help but grow to like the little cub. Kenai still wanted to be human, but he found he didn't mind Coda showing him how to be a bear. Then one day, Rut and Took ran into Kenai and Coda. The moose were scared because a human hunter was following them. Kenai remembered how he'd followed tracks when he was a human and had gone hunting, and that gave him an idea. Kenai realized that if he and his animal friends rode on some mammoths, the hunter would not be able to follow their tracks anymore. And it worked. They got away. That night, as they all rested, Coda looked up at the stars. My grandparents are up there, he told Kenai. My mom always said the spirits make all the magical changes in the world. My brother is a spirit, said Kenai. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here. Thanks, Coda yelled to the sky. The next morning, the two bears woke up and looked around. So where are we? Kenai asked, but Coda didn't know. Kenai was furious. He thought Coda had known how to get to the salmon run. Now how was he going to get to the mountain? I'm sorry we're lost, Coda told him. His feelings were very hurt. He began to walk away. I'll just go off on my own. Right away, Kenai felt sorry for being so hard on his new friend. he hurried after Koda and found him near a cave. On one wall was a drawing of a fierce bear and a hunter carrying a spear. "Those monsters are really scary," said Koda, shivering, "especially with those sticks." Kenai realized the cub was talking about the hunter, not the bear. Finally, Kenai and Koda reached the salmon run. At first, Kenai was scared. He met all sorts of bears who seemed big and frightening. But when he got to know the bears better, he began to change his mind. They were friendly, and they worked and played together just like humans. Kenai was beginning to understand bears and to like them instead of hate them. He and Koda played and fished together, just like real brothers. Finally, Kenai climbed the mountain where the lights in the sky touched the earth. There, Sitka appeared to him, just as he had hoped. Seeing that Kenai had learned how to love instead of hate, Sitka transformed Kenai back into a boy. But Kenai knew Koda still needed him, so Kenai asked Sitka to turn him back into a bear. From that day on, Kenai and Koda lived together as bears and brothers. The end.